Welcome to the Postville Yeshiva Alumni Podcast, where alumni share memories, experiences, and life lessons with the current Talmidim. We hope you enjoy. All right. Moshe Nachshon.
Yeah.
His American name is Momo. He doesn't let anybody call him Moshe Nachshon besides me. Everyone else that calls him Moshe Nachshon gets punched. That's what you told me once, no?
That is true.
Momo. So go ahead, Moshe. You can talk and say how you came to Postville, history, what you here.
All right. What brought me to Postville? The first time I came to Postville, my parents drove the girls' high school in Chicago to Postville for Rosh Hashanah. This was 2004, I think. Later that year, I ended up boarding by somebody's house in Postville and coming to school as an 8th grader in Postville.
From Chicago.
And the next year, I went to Yeshiva in Montreal. And the year following, my family moved from Chicago to Postville. So I ended up in Yeshiva in Postville and was there for 2 years, 2007, 2008. I don't know how many of the Bachram were alive then.
Anybody here was born 2008?
No, early 2004.
2004. The elder Bachram were born 2004.
Anyway, so for if you guys know the significance of 2008, it was
you don't know. Say what it was. The year of the raid.
Say the year of the raid was 2008. So I was in Shir Beis Mesivta then, and so my raid story is like this. I used to go home for breakfast for a period of time, and whatever, I'd make breakfast at home, and then I'd come back to Yeshiva for Seder. So one morning I went back home, and you guys know in Postville, nobody hears helicopters in Postville. I don't think you've ever heard a helicopter in Postville. So we lived about a block and a half away from Agri, and I was finishing breakfast, and I heard a helicopter, and the helicopter shook our house. And I said, "This is weird. I've been here a year and a half. I've never heard a helicopter before." And then about 5 minutes later, I heard another helicopter, and I said, "I know what this is." So I got on my bike and I rode to Agri, and I was stopped there by a few FBI agents. And I came rushing back to Yeshiva. I said, "Chevra, they got the Mexicans." And that was, I think that was basically the last day of Yeshiva that year. There wasn't a whole lot happening after that. It was just absolute chaotic. And I just got to watch that whole. I was there with a few friends of ours. There's pictures on Google of us there that day. And Postal was a different time after that.
You were here when he got arrested also? That was only after.
So actually when he got arrested, I was.
It wasn't the day of the raid. It was like a few months later.
Yeah. So I was already with Yossi Rabashkin, his son, in Bermois when he got arrested. And Yossi ended up leaving Bermois a few days before me. And he walked into my room right after Yitzhak Kislev, and he said, "Moshe, I have to go. My father got arrested. My mother needs me home." And he left, and then I joined him a few days later.
Mm-hmm. You came back that same year to Postville also? You were there?
Yeah. I came back. I came back maybe a week later, 2 weeks later. By mid Hanukkah, I was back home.
Mm-hmm. So could you share your Brahma story, how you ended up in Brahma?
Yeah. So at the end of Yeshiva, I had no plans of really going to Zal. finished my Masifta career. It was splendid, and I didn't intend on continuing. And at the time, Rabbi Gurkov was our Rosh Yeshiva, and I used to walk him home after Seder every day. He was already getting be a pretty old man, and I would walk him home. He lived like down the block, so I'd walk him home. And one day I was walking him, and I told him, by the way, Yossi Rabashkin said a joke today. He told me I should join him in Benoit. And he turned around. He became very serious. And he said, "Why is that a joke?" I said, Rabbi, come on, not me. Like, I'm not going to Benoit. He said, no, you should go. So started to seriously look into it. And he called in a few favors. And I wound up there right after Sukkot.
There was a story episode in the room without a bed or something, no?
You want me to dive into the whole story? I could tell the whole story.
You have tons of stories. I know that.
The what?
Yeah, you have the most stories. So over the years, I've heard some of them.
Yeah. So anyway, so when I got a call from Rabbi Gurkov. He said, I spoke to Anhala in Benoit, and you're good to go. So I got on a plane from Chicago to Paris, and I get to Yeshiva, and a member of Anhala came and said, "What's your name?" I said, Momo Rosner. He flips his clipboard. He looks at his papers. He says, I don't see your name. I said, well, I don't know. Look again. But Rabbi Gurkov told me everything's good. So he looked again and nothing. So the next morning I asked Yossi Rabashkin, what should I do? He's like, don't worry about it. Just come to Seder tomorrow morning. It'll be fine. So that's what I did. Went at the Seder, and after Mincha, this same individual came and he called me out of Zal, and he said, I don't know what you're doing here. You're not accepted. Go home. I said, Rabbi, like, my home isn't down the block. I have to fly across an ocean and some more to get home. He's like, it doesn't concern me. You're not accepted. Leave. So I was trying to figure out, like, where's the disconnect? Rabbi Gurkov said I'm accepted. He's saying I'm not accepted. So I ended up sitting in the small Zal in Benoit for about 6-7 weeks. And I just learned myself. I was saying, you know what, I'll prove to them that I'm good enough to stay here, and I'll be here. Anyway, during that time, there was another tragedy, the Gabi Holtzberg story in Mumbai. That was happening during that while I was there. And finally, on Yutes Kislev, between Yutes and Chaf is my birthday, I wasn't allowed downstairs to the main Farbrengen. So we had maybe 40 or 50 Bachrim came to my room to Farbreng for Yutes Kislev. So during that time, Yossi Rabashkin had a few L'chaims, and he went downstairs to this Anhala member, and he told him, he said, I want you to accept Moshe. And he went back and forth the whole night. He was just screaming at him, and I want you to accept him. And finally, he came up at the end of the night. It was 2-3 in the morning. He's like, Moshe, you're accepted. Tomorrow morning, you're coming to Zal. So I ate the Schwarze Kasha, and that's the real reason why I'm here. And anyway, so I came down the next day to Seder, and middle of the day of Seder, Yossi comes to me and told me my father got arrested. I'm heading back to Postville, and I wasn't going to stay there without him. So whatever. Anyway, years later, I ended up figuring out that the week that I sent in my application with Yossi's application from Agri. When we got the responses, the Agri was closed for 3 weeks. We got the response within those 3 weeks, and it got faxed back to Agri's fax machine, but nobody was there to actually get the word. But they told Rabbi Gurkov that I was accepted. So that was the disconnect. I only figured that out like maybe 4 years ago. Yeah. But that's how I wound up in Benoit.
What happened after? You came back here for a little bit, then where'd you go after that?
So I came back to Postville. I was learning with some Bachram in Yeshiva, and I was teaching some kids during that year. And then that's Sukkot. I think I went to Australia to help a shliach. And when I got back, I was already 18, and I went to go work in Agri. I went to go work in Agri first in the shipping department, and then about a month later, I was a mashgiach.
Mm-hmm. Then you were here. You went back to Australia afterwards again, no?
I did. I moved back a year later.
And you were in Perth for a while, right?
I was there for about 6 months. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's somewhere. You already shared a whole bunch of memories of Postville, but any more special memories of the yeshiva, of the Fabranians, of anything that happened there?
Yeah, of course. So there was a holy guy that used to work in yeshiva. His name was Taras, alav shalom. I don't know if you guys heard about him.
I know, he died a long time ago.
Yes, he did. He did. He was a good man, and he actually taught me the difference between his kafi and his hapcha. I didn't understand. I was a 14-year-old bacher. I didn't understand the difference, and he explains to me. He says, his kafi is when you drink coffee with no sugar. His hapcha is when you put salt in your coffee. But no, the Postville was and is obviously still very, very, very dear to my heart. No matter where I go in the world, I don't. You remember Zalmi Brownstein?
Yeah. He's
So
in
he
Florida
lives
now,
here.
right?
Yeah, he lives in our community now. And there's always like wherever I've been, whether it was in Crown Heights or LA or here, there's always been like this Postville group. There's just something very special about the group that was with us in Postville. By far, the thing that stands out for me the most had to be the Fabrengens and the Melava Malkas. Do you guys still do those?
Very rarely. Heshi does it sometimes, but
Oh
not on a
yeah.
weekly basis. No.
Okay.
Explain
So
what it was. Explain what it was.
those used to be a weekly thing. I don't remember if we'd have obviously Bunim or the community would have it. We used to be in the shul. Yeshiva used to be in the shul, so there was a lot more of a connection between the community and the Bahrain. So all the community members would come to the shul, the shachtim, I don't know if Anhala came so often, but Bahrain and whatever. We would eat in the winter months it was fleshik, in the summer months it was milchik. We had a whole series of songs we would sing, Matzah Shabbos Negonim, Akot Tevach, and then the old Sheikh Rabbi Bloom would say the same story every weekend about the Pripachik and the diamond, and we were able to repeat it verbatim at that point after a few years.
Just say the story big kitzur, so that everyone knows the story. Just repeat
Yeah,
it.
the story of the guy who said that he was going to be rich, and he would find the jewelry under a bridge, and he gets to the bridge, and the guy says, "What are you kidding me? There's a guy's house that there's a jewelry there, but I'd never go there. So what are you talking about?" Turns out it's his house. He went home. He broke the oven, and boom, there was gold and silver and diamonds, and yeah, the whole the Farbrengens by far. Today, I'm forever grateful for those Farbrengens. I remember, Gabriel, your rule. Do you still have the 2 salad rule?
The 2 what?
2 salad rule.
I don't know what that is. I make new rules every day, so I forget those.
Oh. You had a rule that by Farbrengens, there's mashka, crackers, and only 2 salads. Okay. And the concept behind it was like, you're not coming here to Fress. You're coming here to Farbreng. Yeah, you need some food on the table. But that one stuck with me. Like, it's true. You have the little gashmias that you're gonna have, but no need to really dive into that so much.
You'd be shocked what goes on by Fabrengens over here today. Mike Nikes and Twizzlers and corn chips and salsa.
Wow.
Whatever you want. And
you know what?
Wings.
Oh, you know what, though? I have to say, I did see throughout my years, specifically in Chabad houses, I spent a lot of time in Chabad houses for Israeli backpackers, and I remember the shliach came out there and he was just bringing out food and more food and more food. And I told him, I said, Mati, like, slow down. No one's going starving here. And he said, good gashmias brings good ruchnias. And I've actually seen a certain correlation between some farbrengens, at least later on. I don't know, maybe it's for a balabas, maybe not for Bachram, I don't know. But I've seen a significant amount of positivity coming out of farbrengens with a lot of gashmias. So something to say about that.
Yeah. Okay, most guys continue where they're up to today. Where are you living now? What are you doing now?
So now I live in Coral Springs, Florida. Married, Baruch Hashem, with 4 beautiful children.
I know.
I have a furniture and Judaica company.
What's with the ex-cash advance?
We do. That's on the side. But the focus is a lot of different focuses. But yeah, we started this company during COVID, and we make all kinds of unique pieces of Judaica and furniture. And yeah, it's a real blessing to live here and to have a huge growing community. And so during the time when Shomartcha was in jail, I spent I spent time emailing him, and I made an effort to try to email him as often as possible. And I asked him, this is back in 2016. I asked him, I said, is there anything that like I can do to, in your schus to help you get out? He said, I want you to start a Shar B'tachon share. So I was still a bacher then. I lived in Crown Heights, and I used to volunteer at Aliyah. Any of Crown Heightsers are familiar? Yeah. So I had a share there once a week, and it was unbelievable. There was actually quite a few postal bachrim that were there, and we really, like, week in, week out, just getting to fundamentals of what emunah and bitachon are. And that whole time and that whole share really stuck with me. And when I moved to Florida a little over 3 years ago, I started a shir learning Shar B'tachon every Monday night. We call it the Farbecue. And it's been
good Gashmias, yeah.
Unbelievable Gashmias. Unbelievable. Chicken wings, steaks, but what's been unbelievable, and actually Shomartcha came 2 years ago, Chayel, he farbranged for us at the barbecue at my house here, which was very special. And I think we're on our 5th or 6th round now, going through Shar B'tachon. And recently we started adding, there's a whole series of letters about emunah b'tachon on Chabad.org. Different correspondence between the Rebbe and people over the years, which we've incorporated into the shir, which was very, very nice. And it's amazing to sit with your friends, who a lot of them are also business owners, and just start the week off with the concept of emunah b'tachon and talk about it. People tell us, people come to the shir and tell us their struggles of the week, or their struggles of the month, or wins they had that week. And it's been amazing to bounce that off with other people that are going through similar things as you, and it's really bred unbelievable positivity in the community.
How does a share work? You have you have the white book from Felder, that one from Chayino?
Yeah.
And everyone just reads a paragraph and talks. How do you have the share?
Yeah, we used to have just people would pass the book around. Now our community has like a young Anash rabbi who gives the shir over.
What's his name?
Mendy Shanowitz from Crown Heights. And it morphs into a discussion. He just leads it, but it really turns into something that's very real, down to earth. And I don't know if you, Bachram, could appreciate this yet. You'll get there one day. I after 2.5 years, we would always go back and forth of where's the balance between bitachon and ishtadlus. And this would be an ongoing debate that we'd have week after week after week.
Explain the debate, Moshe. Explain with the two sides.
So you're starting a business. How much emuna do you pour into it, and how much ishtadlus do you pour? Where's my effort stop? Where I go, okay, this is no longer effort. This is this is basically me saying God doesn't exist. If you think that the business you started and the success you have is because of the effort or the hours that you put in or your skills, you're a fool. On the flip side, if you sit in Zal or in Shul and you learn for 12 hours of the day, you're not going to build a business. So where's the balance between doing what you have to do to physically build this business versus understanding that what it is that you're experiencing, the success you're experiencing, is not due to your efforts? So this would be a debate that we went on for two and a half years, until finally somebody said something that just stuck so perfectly, and I think it sums it all up. And that is that we have the mitzvah of Sheshes Yamim Tavid. You're supposed to work 6 days. Why? Because God told you so. It doesn't say make money 6 days a week. It says work 6 days a week. So the same God that told you to rest on the 7th is telling you to work on the other 6. So our avodah is to do the work and then rest, and Hashem will provide for what He provides for. But we have the mitzvah to work. That's our avodah.
How does that answer the question of bitachon and ishtadlus?
If you don't do the work, if you put in the work, you have a license to have emun and bitachon. If you don't put in the work, you're praying for fairy dust. You didn't put any. There's no sweat of your own in there.
How long is the shir every time? Hour, 2 hours? How long does it go?
No, we start at 9:30. We leave between 12:30 and 1.
That says Monday night, not Sunday night.
No, Monday nights.
So they have work the next morning.
That is true.
No one gets a knas if they miss, they come late.
Well, we pay for our knasim in other ways as business owners and as parents.
Your video turned off.
Yeah, I know. I went to go open the door and I found out it is my 1-year-old banging on the door. I thought somebody needed to come in.
Okay, Moshe, we're trying to wrapping up here. Just finish off last questions we'd like to ask. I know I usually ask what's your favorite sicha, but I know you have a few favorite maimorim. So let's start with the maimer. What's your favorite maimer?
Yeah, my favorite maimer by far is Tefillah Moshe. It is a maimer that I learned when I started dating my wife. I ended just something I pulled off the shelf. I ended up saying that at my lechaim. And then years later, I actually had a chavrusa with Shomartcha in the mornings at 6:30 in the morning for a couple of months. And we learned that mimer. And over there, the Rebbe speaks about what exactly is an ashir and what is an ani. And it was very interesting to learn that mimer with Shomartcha, somebody who's been on all sides of the coin. And the depth that we learned it was very... very special. I don't have a favorite sicha, but recently, over Shabbos, somebody was farbringing with me and telling me about sicha from the Rebbe about emunah bitachon in Chelek Lamed Vav. I'm going to sit down and learn within this week. So I have a feeling it's going to be on the favorites list.
Yeah. About
Oh,
it brings Shara B'Dachin here. It basically goes through Shara B'Dachin with the Rebbe's interpretations. That's
yeah. And what's fascinating when he told me about it was how the Rebbe is saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that we are basically what we think about. We are our thoughts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and today all these modern gurus and whatever, that's all they're preaching. Because, and I was just now by dinner, I was talking to my wife about this. The Seder is Machshava Dibur Maisa. So the Satan will come to Machshava first, because they cut it off at the root. If we're thinking of doing something good, that's where he should cut it off. And the real battle is in our head. The thoughts that are pouring in, and we have to counter them actively. It's not a passive war, it's an active war.
Mm-hmm. Favorite mitzvah?
Tzedakah.
That's right, without thinking.
Not even a question.
All the time.
To get to help another Jew, and it's not monetary necessarily. Tzedakah could be sitting down with somebody who just needs a listening ear for an hour. I think this is the reason we're all here, to love a fellow Jew.
Mm-hmm. Any special messages for the Talmidim? Welcome still in Yeshiva. What do you want to tell them? What you didn't do, or what you did do?
I didn't learn as much as I should have. That's for sure.
Do you regret it?
I do. I tried to catch up in my later Bacher years, but I made a dent, but not as much as I should have. You guys are very lucky. You guys are in, I think, the world's last shtetl. You're very lucky that you have this.
There's a new one now in Florida now. There's a Drawer Acres or something. North in the Panhandle. There's something there. Someone just opened something. Drawer Acres.
That's there. They also have Satmar's relocating to Central Florida.
Which Satmar?
I'm not sure who, but I know that they bought 20,000 acres and they're going to build for the next 10 years. It's going to be like a second Muncie and a Lakewood in all in one.
But but they want Mamdani, why they want to go away from
Oh, they were davening at the oil for Mamdani to win every day.
Why they want to go away now?
No, they started this thing during COVID. It took years until they actually made it, but Mamdani, I think that push is going to really push. They have chadarim and malls, and a friend of mine went there. All the streets are Rashi Boulevard, Rambam Street.
What's the name of the city?
Lakefront.
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 How far is it from Miami? From you, whatever.
I'm an hour north of Miami, and this thing is 2 hours north of us. It's mamish like central Florida, hillbillies all around you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the craziest thing that you did?
What was the craziest thing that you did in Postville? The Rachman want to know. At the end of the thing, they always ask their questions. Your favorite food, your favorite craziest thing you did in Yeshiva.
Things
in Yeshiva or Bechlal?
Bechlal and Postville.
Bechlal is I don't want to hear, but Postville you can hear.
Bechlal.
We learned about how axe cans burst in fires. We did a lot of that.
Did you guys try it?
What?
Yeah, we just said yes.
Yeah, we experimented. You guys, do you guys still do the? You guys still do the Lag BaOmer parades?
Yeah.
With the floats and everything?
Yeah, it's a little bit different than it used to be, but it's still there.
Wow. Yeah, that was a beautiful time of the year.
I have to share. I'm going to share with you now. I forgot earlier. I have a video of Purim. Baraki Shane sent me a video of Purim when your year. So there's a video.
Really?
Yeah, so you're running around there also. It's like an hour long, but Shalmar says that the darshan in Zelik's house and Mati Brandwein's house, going around to in my house, in Michelle Weiss's house. So there's a
yeah, please
it's
send that.
terrible quality, but it's you can recognize what's happening.
Right. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys, I think we need to keep yourself busy.
What did you do to keep yourself busy and not get bored in Postville?
4 phones.
I mean, honestly, when I was in yeshiva, I wasn't bored. There was 60 friends, say there from 7 in the morning until 9:30. I mean, there wasn't really downtime. It was boring when all the Bachrim left, like in between, like Pesach break. Sukkot break, that was pretty boring. But yeshiva time alone, I highly entertained.
This would be 4 phones. That's why you weren't bored.
This
Today-
is true.
If the
Actually,
people
I
get their phones
saw-
today, they're bored. They're bored forever. They just need
I
a
saw
phone.
my first iPhone at a Farbring in 2007 in the basement. I think you were Farbringing, and one of the shluchim had an iPhone. I remember that.
That was iPods, not iPhones.
No, iPhone. The first iPhone.
Oh wow.
I saw that. Yeah,
Which liach was it?
it was. I think Wilhelm, Shmuel David Wilhelm.
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
You kind of silent.
Well, did you climb the silos? They want to know.
I did not climb a silos,
You also didn't do it yet. It started later.
and I did not tip a cow.
We didn't do that.
But I spent a lot of time in Agri. I learned shchita. I toured the plant very often and put on a white hat and got a lot of meat for barbecues.
Still going. Okay, Moshe, thank you so much.
All
You got
right.
any finals now? We might have to have some. You're the best ones. The guys want to ask you more questions. Might be a different time.
I'll be here.
Okay.
All right.
להתראות.
A gute Nacht.
Bye.
Bye.